Hey everybody, welcome to Jedayoshi Warrior Trading. Here at Jedayoshi Warrior Trading, we don't shill coins, we don't call for crazy future prices, we don't advertise products. We dig in and analyze charts and work on becoming master traders. Today's Thursday, December 9th. I have J Bravo with me today. And J Bravo, how are you doing today?
Doing great, buddy.
Good to see you, man. Hey, listen, before we get into charts, we'll get in there in 1 second, but I was watching our video from yesterday and
so you're the one.
I'll probably have to be I'm probably half the views from yesterday. But hey, listen, I kept going back to one thing. I was thinking through this morning, and you made a comment about, hey, I think 69 is our local top, or our top for now, and we go down from here. And while I agree with that, right, I also went back and I had some, a big question resonated with me, and it's basically like, hey, with our system and application of our trade plans and our system or whatever, does it matter if we have things like extended markets into next year, right? That's a big question, but does it really matter if we like if we bounce back here, new all-time high, go into extended market in 2022, or end of blow off, end of a kind of a market cycle top end of next year, right? Like if we're applying our trade principles and systems, does it really matter what the market does? What do you think?
I think it's a great point. And I think it only matters if you are a person that's going to buy into something expecting that you're going to get a higher price down the road and don't have any intention on trading the market in between. Right. I think that's where it matters. Now, if you want to be more active, and I think over time, as you introduce your system and show people how to work it, it'll become very obvious that even doing a minimal amount of work on a few pivot trades can really boost your profit over a short period of time, right? So I mean, I think it's a good idea to understand how the chart's working and being able to make small moves incrementally to really increase your profit.
Yeah, right on. So yeah, I think that's a good point, man. And I think that what we saw, or what we shared yesterday, kind of like, guys, look, this is what a top looks like. And we'll get into the chart here in a second, but what we're looking for in a local bottom area and what we expect the chart to look like at that point. I think once we start to see that, then you start building that skill set and enable yourself to take the action that's necessary at the time. Right. So without further ado, let's get into some charts, and I want to show you what I was looking at this morning. Obviously, okay, so Bitcoin daily, we're still in correction mode. Obviously, a pretty big red day here, right? What are we down? Let's see. 5% on Bitcoin. Alts are getting hit a little bit harder. So, okay. One of the things I was looking at was for this level here to hold, right? This daily pivot.
That's right.
That to me, like a lot of these levels, like see it right here in the chart, where you had a little bit of a struggle getting through, that really lines up with like this old level. So previous pivot points or highs and lows where markets tend to turn around can be, and a lot of times you'll find are either, local, stopping points or hurdles or levels, right? And there's different theories about that, like ceilings and floors and that sort of thing. But again, I was looking for this level to either hold or break, and we got a break today. Again, from yesterday, I'm looking at this on the macro. So I'm looking at, who's in control all the time. Bears are still in control. And on RSI, I'm looking at this level, right? So again, bears are in control for me as long as the RSI is below the line here and as long as price is below the line. When we get, and I'll show you a little bit of divergence, what's called divergence, right, as we know it, and what I expect this to start looking like before we maybe cross this line and then go up. And then once we have an RSI cross and a price cross here, then for me, I would mark it, boom, green light, go for bulls. Bulls can take over and we go again. Again, like we said yesterday, what we're expecting is something, either this low is in, right? Or we break down and we come down to a lower level, and maybe that's here, which kind of lines up with this old area. And there's an old, like this area here looks like a local floor, right? Came up above, bounced here and up. So maybe it's here or somewhere down in here. We expect to get some bullish momentum going back, right?
Sure.
Someday. But what I wanted to do was so that's bears in control right now, right? Let's zoom in on the 1 hour real quick. And then I want to show you some stuff I was looking at on corrections. So on the 1 hour, what I was looking at was this zone here from this point, right? Touched through that point.
Yep.
I actually had it from these 2 points. Let's just use this point, right? To me, that was pretty significant, right? Like that level holding, we broke it.
Yep.
And it looks like on pretty good strength. And then we're flushing down here. For me, and then the other thing is for me to look at this level. Again, you go back to like this level theory, right? These older levels, they can provide support because they were supported at one point before, right? So you have maybe this level holds, and again, this is low time frame stuff, 1 hour, right? But maybe we get a bounce here. I would expect something here, right? A little bit of a bounce. And then if that breaks, then I'm looking at this level.
Yep.
And right, we might get a little bit of bounce. If not, then I'm looking at this, which is down here or lower, right?
See that? Yep.
So when I was looking at this morning, I started looking at other corrective periods, right? So let's go back and look at back on the daily. I wanted to just show you what I was seeing as like, what could we possibly expect to see here, right? So let's look at this correction. At the bottom of this correction, we had a pretty big red candle, bearish here. Bulls attempted to regain, it sold off, bulls finally regained. So you had some wave action, right? Come down, up, down. Okay, let's go to look at another one. This one was very interesting to me. This is January of this year.
Yep.
We come down, let me get my RSI back because I want to show you something. Something magical.
Let's see.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure you're ready? Okay, here we go. So that would be, for me, that's a breakout. That is also an interesting RSI level. And what I wanted to show you was we had our first bounce. We came back up. We had bulls and bears struggling to regain. It's kind of tug of war, right? And then one last bounce down and then back up.
Yep.
So this last, sometimes you'll see this is a higher high. And what I wanted to point out was when we looked at the topping structure, right? Like for here, it's, well, this one isn't as pronounced, but like this one was, or one of these, it's higher high on lower RSI. It means the higher high is less strong. And then the bulls can lose control.
Sure.
Here, it's not as pronounced. However, if you look at this level, right? 29,000. Look at what the RSI did. The RSI is a little bit higher. So it is technically a higher high. See that?
Oh, yeah.
On the close, it's a higher high. It's not, in real time, it's a lot harder to get this exactly right. But you can see that when we closed and we started moving back up, you could say, okay, possible higher high on RSI, right? At that point.
Sure.
Now, are you gonna maintain that, or do you drop dip further? That's real time game calling stuff, right? But like I said, it's obvious and easy afterwards. But this ended up being a higher high. Again, for me, the safest thing, like I said yesterday, probably like trying to catch bottoms and exact tops. That's hard because sometimes they don't get a chance to play out, right? But after the fact, and then once you have this RSI break down here, and then you see like this level get broken over here, and then you get like, you start building strength, and then you see your price break, and you're like, okay, I have both RSI, I'm breaking out on stronger or on strength. Bulls take over, right? Okay, so that correction was a higher low, right? This correction here, albeit quick, this was quick. Look at this low, bounce back up to the middle of this candle, which is interesting. I call it, there's a gift zone theory, but we'll get into that one day. and then you drop down lower. So it made a new low.
Yeah.
Right. Obvious ABC to me. Look at this. ABC. And I want to show you my
clean.
Yeah. ABC. A and C are about the same. It's kind of that uniformity theory, right?
Sure.
Again, well, this correction, A, B, C, right? This correction, A, B, whoa, right? ABO, hey, that's an ABO, that's an ABO no.
Right.
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 But like, okay, so the question is, are we done? Right? Or what's going to happen? And so from studying corrections, I would not be surprised to see something of either, a second punch down, and we either come down in here or we break it and we go lower. However, let's look at what I would expect to see the RSI look like. Okay. So again, you take this whole theory of see this higher high, lower RSI, right? On bottoms, it's the opposite, right? So what I would expect to see, or what I would not be surprised to see, is something like, if let's just assume for now that we do get a crash, or not a crash, a bigger correction, right? Then we come up and then we do this and then we come out. Like that to me would be a deep RSI cut followed by a more shallow one and then out, right?
Yep.
And again, what I would see or expect to see, let's just pretend I drew it right and it was below the line.
Yep.
But what I would see, or this might be a little bit above the line because I believe it'll be early in the signal, right? So this will be an early indicator and maybe it'll be a little bit of a fake out. But again, you're not, in my book, you're not fully bulls in control until you have both this and that, right?
Sure.
But RSI in my book precedes price many, many times. So when you see bullish RSI action, you can take a trade. It's a little bit more risk, but you can take a trade, assuming that, and maybe you're a trader that uses stops or whatever, and you can try something to get in, earlier than here. However, just be aware that I've seen, and this is a good example, this looked bullish, right? Here, this looked bullish, right? What happened? We couldn't hold it and we fell lower. So when you play this game of trying to catch this bottom or trade this bottom, just be aware that you can have strength in some strength, which is basically like you're coming back to either the line, or you see this a lot in moving averages, right? You correct, you retrace back to a moving average, bulls can't regain control, you fall, right? So a lot of times, the safest thing, again, for me, is to wait until you have signals both on RSI and price, right? But you can try to pregame it, and that is a play to make. I do this a lot in futures. It seems to work in equities quite a bit, where RSI leads, and on the 1 hour you can get ahead of it pretty good.
Yeah, and
it's a nice way to go.
And like you said, I think for the more active traders, when you see that first signal on the RSI, you might want to get in and just put a really strict stop in there and let it see if it plays out.
Yeah.
But for people who are just trying to time out a bottom a little bit better, you get the RSI break and the price break, I think you've got a pretty good idea that the trend has turned.
Right.
Yeah.
You will see fake outs from time to time, so it's not perfect. But man, I have a friend that's trading on our system, and he's trading futures and a little options too. But he coined the term too. He's like, this system is undefeated.
Yep.
It's undefeatable, and he's doing really well. I'm like, I am joining you next year. We're trading together. I cannot wait to go trade futures. Okay, last thing I want to show you, and then I want you to show us some of your magic. But last thing I want to show you was, remember, like early this morning, I'm like, dude, I cannot find 5 waves in C.
Sure.
Right. So let's just look at that. I was looking at the daily, right? So I'm like, I'm expecting to see, like, look right here. This is ABC to me, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, again, I'm not a wave expert. I'm not an Elliott wave expert. My stuff is support, resistance lines, and RSI. So who's in control. Not trying to count waves, but when I have an obvious wave staring me in the face, it's hard to ignore, right? So I have ABC here. I mean, like this, I see some ABC. Let's draw that, right?
Sure.
If we're correcting ABC, I'm either going to go here, ABC.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's just say that's in play.
Sure.
That is a massive C.
Yep.
It could be, sure. I mean, yeah,
It's massive.
That could be it, but you can't argue that's a massive C. All right, let's do something else. ABC from a point in here.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe this is it.
Mhm.
Let's just say something like this is it. ABC.
Looks a little bit better.
I can't. Yeah, it looks a little bit more like you'd expect, more normal.
Mhm.
I can't find 5 waves in here. Let me show you. If there's always 5 waves in C, right? Let's just. I believe that's the case. Whatever. Watch this. If I bring this up to here, I can't create something without massive overlap. Like, let me just do this. And then I'll say like, okay, let's just pretend, let's just say this was it, right? I think this is where I was. Okay. So I have 8, 1, 2. Now I can bring my 3 up here. 3. That's just crowded, man. Like that doesn't work for me. Right?
Look, I'm certainly no expert on Elliott wave either, but I have also been drawing waves today, and every conclusion I come to is that there is one more move down below that nasty looking wick. One more move down.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing that if you're thinking equivalency, it's what makes sense to me.
Right. And let's just draw that out. Yeah. Right. Let's go with let's just do percents.
Sure.
So let's say that we have that, right? And it's 22%. And let's say that's that. So we'll go, actually, look, percentage. That's interesting. See, you can tell I didn't pregame this, right? This is all live on the fly, doing some Elliott wave charting. That I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Help. But check this out, right? If that's A, that's B. You would think C looks something more like, where's that 38 level, right?
Yep. That looks about right.
Okay, so let's just forget about these percents. Didn't work out so well. Okay, if we were to look like something like that, okay.
Yep.
ABC, 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 right? Like you're starting to see like,
yes,
probably more times than not, you get ABC that's kind of uniform, but then you come over here and you're like, I can't get that to fit, right? Now, there are I've seen some other things that are like long-term trends, and they do like need a price support level here. And so, I don't know, man, maybe we get like something like a wick down or something.
Sure.
But hey, I think the overarching theory here is that, or theme really is that, look, anything can and will happen to the downside as long as the bears are in control, right?
Absolutely.
So until the bulls regain control, we're just not done correcting. And that's the message. You hate to say it because it's a lot of obviously asset holders and long-term bulls are just having to suffer through days like today, right? But the truth in the charts and what it says, to me anyways, is that until, at least for me, and this is the daily, and you can see it on the lower time frame charts sooner, but until you get above here and you really start building strength, and probably you'll get some bullish divergence here. You'll get a nice, maybe a bottom here, and you'll start to gain strength here. Until that happens, the bulls aren't in control.
Yeah, man, and I think it's very possible to see another wick down. I think shorts, generally speaking, I think shorts are still at a very small percentage of the market right now. So I think a lot of people think Bitcoin is still going to move up to 75, 80, 90,000. And there could be another, liquidation event that gets us down to that 38. I really think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be scary, and alts are going to go with it. But to flush out all of the longs, I think that might have to happen one last time.
So basically, like, they liquidated $1.5 billion in longs here, right?
In short order, yeah.
Yeah, in an hour.
Right.
So what's to say that, and I'm not I don't study this data, right? But you can go look at exchanges in their leverage positions. Mm-hmm. What if people that got liquidated here re-upped and said, okay, great, I'm long from right here now.
That's right.
And again, they say, no, you're not. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, I'm wrecked. It's bear market time. We're never recovering. And then the market just takes off, right? Oh, like the market,
Yeah.
I promise you, from what I've seen over and over and over, right? It's that this market will wreck the most number of people possible in any other way, in any
That's
way,
right.
right? The market has a way of making the most amount of people or the majority of people as wrong as possible, as much as possible.
Yep.
Right. So, that's that. So I think that, we'll keep watching this, but man, if you look at like, if we do that, and if we do come down here, and hopefully it's just a wick and it's quick, but also there will be some massive opportunities. And
Absolutely.
that's what we're looking forward to, right? I mean, can
Yep.
you imagine adding or acquiring to Akita, and pick your chosen, you know me and my love for dogs, right?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, can you look at, a massive sell-off in say Luna or Solana, or pick your leader, right? And you're, really handy at looking at these assets, but you could get massive sales and deals on these leaders. We saw the ones that as soon as the chart goes bullish, right? Like we saw with Shib and Akita, as soon as we get some bullish momentum, these things take off.
That's right.
We saw what's your short list right now?
Well, you named a couple of them. I think I'm probably not going to move anything into Luna or Solana at this point, but the coins that have been getting liquidity all year long, the AVAX, the Matic, Engine,
right?
Shib, these are the ones that are probably going to have a blow off move. If anything has a blow off move, right? Why wouldn't they be the ones that have it?
Right. Because I think there's, and I wonder if, you're like, look at these charts that haven't moved like ICP, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a great chart, and I like to buy a chart like that.
Oh yeah.
But is it going to get liquidity? Is it going to pump, or do we have to wait until maybe a market structure is, we're really at the end of the cycle when alts really go nuts?
Yep.
So that's a decision that obviously we have to make, and everybody else has to make. Is how do you position yourself for getting liquidity to come your way? That's right. So hey, let me switch the screen share, and this is going to be, I forget how to do this, but I want to kick it over to you, and I want you to show us. I think I stopped sharing, and you start, right?
Let's see here. Here we go. Are you seeing?
I see it. Yep.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So the one chart that I'm really looking at today, two things. We talked about corrections this morning. I think it's important to kind of hammer home what I'm talking about here. And if you want to look at, I think I had this on let's go to the daily. This is what I had drawn out. And for everybody out there who's watching this, besides me and Rambo here, if you hear Ramboshi correct me, it's because that's what he's been doing to me for 20 years. But when you enter the world of numbers with this guy, you gotta bear with me a little bit. But I'm really good at sort of pointing him in the right direction, and then he corrects my work.
You're like the strategy guy, and I'm
right. Well, if we were at the golf course, it'd be a different story. But
totally, yeah.
I'm in your world. But like really, really quick.
I'm into big numbers on the golf course. Big numbers.
Look at my work here and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is on a daily, right? So if I just basically have drawn out some Elliott waves here, and I think having looked at Elliott wave structure a lot this morning, when you get to the bottom of this wave 5, right, you get the A, B, C kind of correct back up. And what I'm seeing a lot is this C wave rolls higher. So I don't know if what I'm looking at here is correct, but this seems to play out in that when this C wave, this corrective C wave finishes, I'm looking for 5 waves down. Right.
So you drew kind of an ABC, right? So A is
an
5.
ABC. Yeah.
It's 5-3-5, right? So A is 5.
Right. Yeah.
B is 3 is your ABC.
That's right.
And then
so where is the 5th wave going to end? That's the question I have.
Right.
And in most models, it shows that 5th wave does make a move lower than the 3rd wave.
Right.
This support line that I have here is precisely the 43% correction we were talking about yesterday,
right?
Which would be the equivalent of the correction from 2017, the first leg down after the top.
Right.
So do I think, are we going to see this? That's what I'm banking on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in this zone, that's what I'm banking on.
Yep.
So at the same time, interestingly, the Bitcoin dominance chart, this is
neat.
Yeah. Let's go to the weekly on this. Look at where the Bitcoin dominance chart is sitting right now, right? And so if we kind of back out, it's sitting on its line of support all the way back from May. And so now we have Bitcoin.
Dude, that's May of like 2018, May.
Way back here. Right. So this was from this year, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Right.
found support. If for some reason we don't find support again, and if the Bitcoin top is in, which I think it is, I tend to think this is going to break down. So what does that mean? It means all the money from Bitcoin is going to be flowing somewhere else
As it retraces.
as it does its retracement.
Comes back up. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier to take a look at this RSI breakdown here, right? So you have a very obvious upward trend happening here.
Right.
And now we've broken that structure. So I would say you have an early signal down here. And if we break this line of support, I think you could tell what's coming next, but I think that means money flowing into the altcoin market.
That'll be really exciting. And yeah, that's a signal to me, especially on the weekly.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't know if it makes a new low or whatever, but you're like, when you break down on structure like that, it means something.
Yep.
Right. And
I think it's significant. I think it's something to be watched, especially on this bigger time scale like this.
Mm-hmm. Now you got a lot of guys out there calling for Bitcoin, dominance run and whatever, but just not seeing, this is what we're seeing in the charts, right? So
yep.
Yeah, that's neat, man. That's neat. Yeah. So
that's all I got for you.
That's cool. That's pretty good. What else is interesting in the alt world right now? What are we looking at?
A lot of red.
No. Actually, there was a point in time yesterday where XRP was up like 5 or 10%.
Yeah, it was. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think everything's reacting to Bitcoin like it normally does.
It's the leader.
That's right. I mean, there's really virtually nothing on my list right now that's green, with the exception of a couple things that are 8% up. But I think right now Bitcoin is gonna lead the way. I think it's going to continue going lower. I think the alts are going to suffer along with it, just because that's what they do. And I think we're going to go into retracements, which I think would be a really exciting time period. So yeah. I don't think, I hate to watch my positions go down. That's not fun for anybody. But if you expect to have an alt season, this is what has to happen. Right.
Yep.
So let's have it.
Let's have it. Let's get it over with, man. Let's get this run going.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's it. Hey, thanks again for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.
Thanks for being here. I think I love the dialogue. I love doing this.
Me too.
Basically, we're just recording what we do in real life all the time anyways.
Pretty much, man.
This is fun. And I think
yeah, man, I think showing up, and doing it and just having some content for people from day to day is pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's just we're opening our lives to a lot of people that'll come and look and say, hey, this is what we're looking at every day. And these are the charts that we're seeing, and this is how we're attacking this. And you want to join in, let's go.
That's right. Let's go. Let's all learn, man. Let's learn.
Yeah. Let's be the best we can be.
All right, man.
All right. Well, thanks again, dude. And we'll catch everybody later.
See ya.
All right. See ya.